You begin with a certainty that feels natural. You ask questions to uncover what you do not know. The mind seeks, explores, and reaches for answers it believes lie beyond itself. But Ibn Arabi challenged this entire process. He said the question and the answer are not two. Every question, he taught, arises only because the answer is already present within awareness. The act of asking is the act of remembering what is already known. The seeker and the sought are two sides of one movement of recognition. When you ask, it is not ignorance that speaks. It is knowledge revealing itself in the form of inquiry. If the answer is already within the question, who then is truly asking? Ibn Arabi lived in 12th century Andalusia, a time when philosophy and mysticism intertwined. Philosophers analyzed being through reason. Mystics sought direct vision of truth. Ibn Arabi stood between them, uniting both paths. He called true knowing marifa, recognition rather than discovery. To him, every question was a gesture of the real turning toward itself through human consciousness. When the human asks, "What is truth?" it is not a private act of thought. It is reality investigating itself. He taught that the questioner is not an isolated mind, but a channel through which the divine awareness inquires into its own nature. You assume that to ask is to confess not knowing. But Ibn Arabi reversed this logic. He said no question could exist unless the answer were already implicit within it. To ask what is truth is to reveal that truth is already sensed, even if not yet recognized. The question is not born from absence. It is born from the presence that seeks to know itself. Awareness hides part of what it knows in order to unfold it through questioning. You do not ask because you are ignorant. You ask because knowing wishes to become conscious of itself through the form of your thought. You often imagine that knowledge lies elsewhere, in books, in teachers, in some distant realization. This assumption creates a subtle division between yourself and truth. Ibn Arabi described this as the first illusion. The separation between seeker and sought exists only in the mind that believes in it. To say, "I seek," is already to declare that what you seek is not here. Yet the very act of seeking is proof that it is. When you inquire, you demonstrate the presence of what calls to be known. The distance exists only as an idea that sustains the movement of inquiry itself. Ibn Arabi taught that all questioning is divine. The real, he said, desires to know itself through the countless forms of creation. When you ask, "Who am I?" it is the real asking that question through you. Awareness divides itself into two, the one who asks and the one who answers, so that self-knowing can take place. The mind becomes the stage on which the infinite speaks to itself. But this is not dialogue between two entities. It is one awareness reflecting within its own expression. The human question and the divine answer are not separate voices. They are one rhythm of recognition. If all questioning belongs to the real, is there any question that does not already contain its answer? You often think of yourself as a defined being, a mind, a body, a history. Yet every moment, you continue to ask, "Who am I?" Ibn Arabi revealed that this question is not something you ask about yourself. It is what you are. The self is not a fixed entity. It is an unfolding inquiry. You are the question expressing itself as a person. Each thought, each desire, each act of understanding is this single question continuing to take form. The I is not the answer. It is the movement of the question itself. What remains when the question no longer needs to ask? When you seek an answer, You imagine a process, a journey from ignorance to knowledge. But Ibn Arabi said that true knowing does not occur through reasoning or discovery. It occurs through recognition. Awareness simply recognizes what it already is. When you suddenly understand something, nothing new has appeared. What was hidden has become clear. The answer was never absent, only unnoticed. The moment of realization is the instant awareness recognizes itself through thought. If knowledge is recognition, then perhaps all understanding is remembrance, not of something lost, but of what was always present beneath the motion of questioning. All knowledge seems to depend on two, the knower and the known. Ibn Arabi saw this duality as the final veil before unity. He said that when knowing becomes complete, these two dissolve into one. There is no longer the one who knows and the thing known. There is only the act of knowing itself. The questioner and the answer are the same awareness expressing itself through difference. When this is seen, inquiry ceases, not because the mind is silent, but because the mind no longer divides what was always one. What remains when knowing no longer requires two? For Ibn Arabi, realization was never static. The real endlessly reveals itself. Every answer gives birth to a deeper question, not from lack, but from abundance. Awareness does not rest after knowing. It continues to unfold through new forms of inquiry. Each question opens another dimension of the same truth. Thus, the process of asking never ends. It is the infinite knowing itself again and again. You realize that the question and the answer are not a cycle to escape, but a rhythm to understand. The universe itself is the question that answers itself without pause. Does truth ever finish revealing itself? In the end, you no longer try to separate the asking from the knowing. The question has done its work and has revealed that there was never a division to begin with. Ibn Arabi's hidden teaching points here. You are both the question and the answer because both belong to the same act of awareness. The search ends not with discovery, but with understanding. What once felt like movement now rests in recognition. You see that to ask, "Who am I?" was to hear reality asking itself. The voice that questioned and the voice that replied were always one. In this recognition, inquiry falls silent, not through conclusion, but through completeness. The journey begins with the assumption that questions point toward missing truths. Through Ibn Arabi's reasoning, this belief dissolves. Each question is revealed as a form of divine self-knowing, not a mark of ignorance. The seeker and the sought, the knower and the known, become one movement of awareness exploring itself. Ignorance becomes a necessary shape of knowledge. Questioning becomes the expression of being. The mind no longer strives to find truth. It realizes it has never left it. The script closes in stillness. You understand that the ultimate question and the ultimate answer share the same voice. To ask is to know, and to know is to be. You are the question, and you are the answer.